Welcome to A&B Horror Movies. I'm Aaron, and I'm very excited to be joined by Rob Livings today. Rob, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh, of course, I'm very happy to have you on. So we are going to talk about your horror Christmas anthology, The Christmas Tapes, that came out in 2022. I'm a fan. I watch it every year, well, at least since 2022. I've already watched it this year. So good. I feel like it gets better with each viewing.
Hey, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. My car broke down and my phone's dead.
What's in the box?
It's not midnight yet.
They let in a super weird guy.
So you're gonna take this and you're gonna put it in and we're gonna get started, all right?
Where are we? Ian, you do not want to sit down now.
What is that, Harry?
Get down.
This is gonna be a good one.
And you also did Infrared. You co-wrote and co-directed both films
Mhm.
with Randy Nudlal. Did I say his
Nundlall,
last
yeah.
name right? Nundlal. Okay, I was close. Um, and you have a new movie coming out called The Conjuring Tapes, which we'll talk about in a moment. But first off, why don't we talk about the Christmas tapes? How did this film come about? How did you decide I'm going to create with my partner a Christmas horror anthology?
So we just come off the back of making Infrared with Greg
Mhm.
Sestero, and we had a lot of fun with it. That was our first found footage film. We did that. We'd done a movie before called The Other Girl, which wasn't found footage. And then so
Mhm.
yeah, we did Infrared during COVID because it made sense because you could keep your crew small and your crew. That meant that the crew were also the cast. So we were kind of getting around all those little rules that you had to be on set.
Okay.
And so we finished it, and then one night I was sitting there, and Greg texted me, and he's like, "I want to play that character again." And um, and me and Randy were like, "How the fuck are we gonna do that?" And I sent a joke. I was like, "What if we did a Christmas anthology?" Because I know he loves Home Alone. We were like, "What if
Mhm.
we did a Christmas anthology?" And Greg just forces people to watch like bad horror Christmas movies or whatever. And Randy
Perfect
laughed.
premise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect premise. Randy laughed, and then there was a pause, and then he responded, "I think that could work." And
Mhm.
yeah, a year later, we put out the Christmas tapes.
That's awesome. And Greg Sestero, I should mention, plays the lead, sort of the lead narrator, I guess I would say, in the Christmas tapes. There's a family having a Christmas Eve celebration, and a visitor arrives, and that is Greg Sestero, and he makes them watch VHS tapes.
That's it.
Um,
Yeah, because everyone has
that
a VC. Like he took a gamble, but this family had a VCR, so they could watch his movies.
Yes, and it works so well because it's sort of like a comedic element, and he brings a real serious aspect to it. But there's also some comedy behind it, and that sort of carries through with all of the segments. So I guess my question for you is, did you always intend to sort of blend some comedy with horror in this film?
I mean, I think when you do Christmas horror, you have to.
Of course, of course.
I'm honestly, I mean, other than maybe Black Christmas, there's not a whole lot out there
Mm,
that doesn't have the comedy. Everything that me and Randy do, even when we start out to do something serious, like Infrared as well, we go, all right, we're going to go serious. And whatever it is, it always turns into comedy. And I think that's better because it's less forced. And then people are laughing in areas where you wouldn't usually think there was going to be that kind of setup. So, I mean, obviously we have a Christmas scarecrow, so we knew what we were getting
yeah.
into with that.
Yes.
But yeah, I think everything we do does bleed into comedy, and I people enjoy
Mhm.
that. So yeah.
Cool, cool. Let's see. So the segments we've got Travel Buggies, which has the Christmas Scarecrow that you mentioned, the Christmas Gift, which I would say is a unboxing plan gone wrong. There's an untitled short sci-fi clip, and then lastly, the Christmas Spirit, where a couple moves into a new home and they find out there are some unexpected inhabitants in that home. Can you talk a little bit about how you got the ideas for the segments that did make it into the film? And were there any segments that you perhaps filmed even that did not make it into the final cut?
Yeah, so we knew that, and I mean, this is true of like for anthology. I mean, found footage, people who like found footage, they're purists, they know what they want, and we wanted to make
Mhm.
sure we were delivering that, but also then kind of subverting some expectations. So, Travel Buggies was like, this is our our found footage. This is our Blair Witch. This is the most traditional of the bunch. So we knew we
Yes.
were always going to
Yeah.
write something like that. And we also
Mhm.
didn't want to do like Krampus or anything like that. Like we wanted to try and find something that hadn't been done. So we
Mhm.
just obviously we went down the folklore thing and found Hans Trap, and we wrote something around that. Um,
Cool.
so obviously we took creative liberties. That's set in Germany, and we did it in Donner Pass up in Northern California.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, so that was kind of that. The unboxing one was definitely, I had this idea where the entire segment was just him in the box. That was what the original setup was. I
Mm.
thought people who get claustrophobic, it would work. You wouldn't need a whole lot of a setup. It's all about the sound design. And I think Austin did such a good sound design on the
Yes.
car scene because, I mean, we filmed that interior box scene in an office. So, and I'm just there shaking a box. Like there's nothing fancy about it. The
Oh, it's
light,
so effective though. Yeah,
oh
he's
yeah.
terrified inside that.
Yeah.
Claustrophobic. Nicely done.
And the light flickering was just because I was knocking the battery in and out when I was shaking the box accidentally. So there was a lot of cool, happy accidents with that. But yeah, that started as something like that. And we were
Mm.
just it. Then we had an idea for kind of we wanted a torture porny type segment, and then we thought, well, that's going to kind of not kick out our runtime pretty hard. And so we were like, well, what if we blend the two? So that's how like the Santa and Mrs. Claus came into it. And
Mm.
that was good. I think the foot rub was pretty uncomfortable, which was great because those two are really good friends, those actors. So it
Oh
wasn't
gosh, and they
yeah,
no spoilers, no spoilers, but
no
yes, there is
spoilers.
a foot rub in there.
There is definitely a foot rub. So yeah, that just came from like blending two ideas we had, and then
Mhm.
the little untitled segment. We just wanted to kind of like a palate cleanser, something to like break up the longer segments, which was the sci-fi one. Um, so that
Yes.
was more just yeah. I don't know. You said sometimes with these anthologies things can overstretch. Well, let's just have a short, fast, punchy one in there, and it's really interesting to read. Some people really like it, some people really hate it, and I think that kind of diversiveness works for me. Um, and then the final segment was we knew we wanted to work with Dave Sheridan. We'd met and spoke with him. We knew we wanted to do a very comedic segment.
Mhm.
And that segment, that what was interesting about that was it was completely different. So kind of to what you were saying about stuff we shot but didn't use. We actually it wasn't about shooting it the night before. Like originally that segment was with Dave and Felissa Rose.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, like there was a family emergency and we'd like paid for the flights, we'd done all this stuff. Dave called
Oh
me and he was
no.
like, he called me, he's like, is there a way we can still make this work? And we were like, oh, okay. So yeah, me and him brainstormed a little bit and then Brandy as well. And we were like, let's just do what we were going to do, drop that, but now you're just going to have to talk a shit ton more. And that's where kind of Paranormal Perry was born. And honestly, I think it was a blessing.
Mhm.
Like everything worked so well. Not, I mean, I'm sure it would have been great with them like bouncing off of each other because they have great chemistry.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So it's supposed
Um,
to be a team. There was supposed to be like a team
it's
of
supposed to be a married team.
psychic
Yeah.
investigators, sort of,
Yeah.
without giving anything away. Oh,
That's it.
interesting.
And instead, we had to create this lonely character with a backstory who I just think, I mean, he's probably most people who've seen this film's favorite character in the film as well. So it was one of
Oh
those things
yeah,
where
yeah.
we
I could
had to
see that.
pivot
Mhm.
and we don't write scripts, right? So we have really, really strict outlines of what we know the start point, end point of each scene.
Okay.
We give the actors what they need, and then we kind of let them free flow. Especially in the found footage, it works better. It doesn't feel stilted. It brings out better performances. But we just kind of
Yes.
gave Dave an open canvas, and I mean things like the monologue about his family and stuff like that. It's just we're filming gold, knowing we're getting it. We had no idea we were going to be getting it, and yeah, so that was the most interesting thing, and it was obviously scary. It's like the day before. Like Felissa's obviously like there was nothing she could do about it. It was nobody's fault. We were just kind of like in this
Mhm.
situation, and we was like, all right, let's make it happen. And Dave, yeah, really came to the table and helped us really power through with that one.
Yeah. Paranormal Perry was born. It
Paranormal
was meant
Perry
to
was
be.
born.
It was meant to be. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably my favorite segment. Were there of the segments that are in the film? Do you have one that's a favorite of yours, if you had to choose?
Yeah, I mean I jump between I mean Paranormal Perry is good. I think it's really
Mhm.
fun. I love watching that with an audience.
Mhm.
It's a lot of the
Yeah.
like throw off comments in there. I think Travel Buggies is my favorite as far as horror goes, and then I think Paranormal Perry as far as
Mhm.
the comedy stuff goes.
Comedy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
supernatural elements. And the
Not to
tent
take away
scene
from the
in
other segments. Yeah.
oh, of course, of course. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
want to put you on the spot there. The tent scene in Travel Buggies is comparable to like Willow Creek. It's pretty terrifying. And when we see that scarecrow again, I don't want to give anything away. Very scary segment. And I like with the last one, the Christmas Spirit, how it comes full circle with the framing story with the family in their home on Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was something that Randy was really passionate about. Like, we really like the VHS movies, but we consistently talk about
mhm,
how terrible the wraparound on VHS 2 is, and how it feels so
yeah,
like taped in. The segments are
an
fantastic, and
afterthought almost, right?
yeah, I mean
Hmm.
that's probably the best one in the series as well. But it's just like this. I would say terrible is not right, but like it doesn't seem to fit with what's going on, and we were like, well, let's make sure
Yeah.
we have something that wraps the whole way around, and then yeah, being able to. Actually, that whole idea came from me just seeing that doll in a thrift store, and we were like, "Oh, I think we can link these."
Oh,
So,
that's amazing. Yeah. Do you still
um,
have that? Are there any sort of mementos that you've kept from the films?
yeah. So, I mean, we don't have much. I think I have the Scarecrow mask. I have the Paranormal Perry suit, which Dave put on again when we did the premiere of it, and he played the character in the
Oh,
theater,
that's
which was fun.
amazing. Yeah. Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
and then yeah, I have the Santa, and we
Okay.
haven't done it yet. So the people whose house that we used,
Mhm.
they just bought it, so obviously it was empty, and
Empty.
we were very lucky about that. But the my friends that she's terrified of the idea of like horror films and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
she yeah we do plan one day to have to set that up in the house just so they can find it and
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Nice.
but
That's very
we'll
cool.
see. Yeah,
Yeah. Awesome. Well, speaking of VHS, and I don't want to digress too much,
that's fine.
what is your favorite segment from the VHS films, if you had to pick one?
Oh
I think I have
God, there's so many.
maybe two I could come up with.
I really like the Adam Wingard one with the eye. Um,
Yes,
I
that
think,
one's good.
and I don't know if
Hmm.
it's I don't know if it might not be the strongest narratively. I think from a technical aspect, the amount of reflections, windows, mirrors, all that stuff that they're getting and pulling away from and making it seamless. Obviously, there's cameras, there's a
Yes.
lot of post removal. I think there's something about that where to make something that looks cheap, that isn't cheap, that doesn't feel cheap, is that like there's an art in that. Because obviously they're
Yeah,
trying
it's
to
a
make
good
it
one.
feel like
Hmm.
a home thing. So that's probably mine. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good choice. I like the
What's
one
yours?
in part two, the private school. Oh,
Okay.
that's a cult. Um, the name escapes me, but that's probably my favorite
Yeah.
one. And the one in the first one, right, where she says, "I like you."
Yeah.
Forget the name of that. This was completely unscripted, so I didn't do any research.
It's all good.
Um,
And there's like 20 of them. So
yeah, there's so many, and they keep adding more. Um, okay, let's see. So, Christmas horror anthology. What would you say to horror fans who haven't seen your film to make them want to stream it and check it out? I mean, I'm a fan. I support it. How would you sell it? To put you on the spot again.
Uh, I don't know if you've ever wanted to see Mark from The Room play a maniac and hold a family hostage while making them watch a bunch of equally terrifying and hilarious, I guess, home movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's VHS Christmas, essentially, if that helps sell it on that front. But yeah, it's just a fun movie. It's a fun Christmas movie because it's in segments. I know a lot of people have like with like attention span these days. Like you could watch it in pieces.
Hmm.
It's there.
Hmm.
It's on Tubi. We have it on Blu-ray, or we can buy it on VHS if you really want. But yeah,
Where
it's there.
can where can they buy it on VHS?
Through Undead Video. So if you go to Undead Video on Instagram,
Okay,
so Kelly who runs that, he does some amazing independent releases.
cool.
So yeah, he's released both Christmas tapes and infrared. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So
Awesome. Awesome. Well,
yeah.
I will definitely get a copy and I'll put a link to that in the description when the video posts.
Thank you.
Let's see. Let's talk a little bit. Oh, you're welcome. I'm a fan. Like I said, I watch it every Christmas. Let's talk a little bit about your new film, The Conjuring Tapes. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah,
Another
so
found footage, I suspect.
yeah, so Randy and I, we've got quite a few projects on the horizon that aren't found footage, and we just decided let's do one more. And
Mhm.
we kind of were thinking like, okay, what can we do that's we really wanted to kind of like lean into the horror on this one.
Okay.
Step up the really build on production values, take our time with it. And I mean, it took us just from the shooting side of things, it took us a year to do it because we basically produced every
Mm.
single segment as if it was its own film. And then the wraparound on this one isn't found footage, it's traditional. So we were shooting scripted, we were shooting like with lights, with the cinematographer, with
Oh, cool.
basically the stuff that we want to be doing. It was kind of like our like practicing, I guess, for our next film, which isn't found footage at all. And so it was a real cool kind of hybrid of that. But yeah, it's another situation where some tapes are found and we watch them, but it's definitely a much darker film. It's got a lot more of some kind of like twisty narrative moments. The wraparound is pretty involved story-wise as far as the other ones go. So like everything kind of links
Yes.
in and it snakes in and out of the stories with the wraparound.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so
Cool. And when will that be coming out? Can you share roughly without getting in
roughly,
trouble?
yeah, I mean, I don't like giving people dates and then stuff getting delayed because it's usually out of our hands
A, a season maybe?
once
Can you
it's with
go
the
that far?
distributor. I could March, April is the goal.
Okay. Okay.
And we
Spring then.
spring, there we go. And we are really something we want to do with this one, and I think it's which
Mhm.
is cool with seeing behind you there. We want to prioritize physical media on at least like give it a 2 week early release. So like if you want to grab it on Blu-ray, which that's all getting designed and put up right now, which is cool. That one actually will be in an easy to find web store.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Good.
so
Count me in. Yep.
awesome, thank you. Yeah, yeah. So that'll be Blu-ray and VHS. We want to make so if people want to see it before it hits streaming and all that stuff, it will be available in that
Excellent.
format. And I know that's not going to be that might not be a whole lot of people, but I feel like rewarding people who still collect the physical media and respect physical media. I think why not? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see that you are, and I'm all about physical media, and my co-host is too. And maybe when that comes out, we can have you back on. My co-host hopefully can join, and Randy as well, which would
yeah,
be
that'd be
amazing.
great. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So the Conjuring tapes, Christmas tapes. Before we wrap up, I want to do our this or that segment. It's
Sure.
kind of fun. I basically just ask you two things. You pick one or the other.
Okay.
We try to make it fun. Let's
Okay.
see. Creep Show or Tales from the Crypt?
Creep show.
Creep Show. Okay.
Yep.
Candy canes or gingerbread cookies?
Candy canes.
Candy canes. Christmas Evil or Christmas Bloody Christmas?
Christmas Bloody Christmas, which I just
That's a
watched for
good
the
one.
first
It's
time.
so good,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, it's forgotten about.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. Let's see. Die Hard 1 or Die Hard 2?
Die Hard. Oh, one is a better film, two is more rewatchable, I think.
Yes. Now,
Yeah,
do you think
that's
okay, well, what would you pick? And then I'll ask a follow-up.
all right. I'm gonna go with Die Hard 1. But that's the one
Yeah,
that started it. Yep.
the original, right? Do you think it's a Christmas movie?
I do, but I mean, I argue that Lethal Weapon's a Christmas movie, so I'm pretty
Mhm.
easy. If there's a Christmas tree in it,
That's
it's a
true.
Christmas movie. Yep.
It's a, yeah, yeah. Okay, good answer. Where am I? Ham or turkey dinner?
Uh, he's got to have both.
Both.
I less hard to fuck up a ham. Go with the ham.
That's true. Ham. Let's see. Gremlins 1 or Gremlins 2?
Gremlins 1, but Gremlins 2 is obviously a lot of fun for its
Yeah, it
ridiculousness.
sure is.
Yeah,
It's kind of like Critters and Critters 2. I always feel it's a good
yeah.
comparison there. Here we go. A few more movies. Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 or Silent Night, Deadly Night 2?
Uh, part one. My favorite is part five, but yeah, part one.
Part 5 is good. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I like the parts that make it into part 2, but
Mhm.
part 2 is basically rehashing scenes from part 1. Like half of it
I mean,
is
that's
part
like
1.
it's weird how many films did that. It's
Excuse me.
like sorry to
Mhm.
sidetrack, like Gladiator Cop, right? Which is just the swordsman. It's the swordsman too,
Yeah.
but all the footage in it are from of Lorenzo Lamas is just from The Swordsman 1. And then there's a new story wrapping it. Like they did that a lot. And
Exactly. I think it was
yeah,
to get the runtime, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, so if you watch Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, you can fast forward through the
Yeah,
first
I would say two is the weakest. I actually just watched 4 last night. I hadn't seen it, and it was one of the Brian Usner films I hadn't seen. So
which one is for? Is that
that's
the
Initiation. It's the one with like the witches, and it starts with the burning woman jumping off the building in front of Clint Howard.
okay, okay.
It's
Which
on
one
Tubi.
is the Toy Maker? Is that
That's 5, the Mickey Rooney
that's
one. Yeah,
five? Okay, and that's the one. That's a good one.
yeah.
Yes. All right, where am I? Vampires or werewolves?
Vampires.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Let's see, sweet potato casserole or mashed potatoes?
mashed potatoes.
Yeah, I
That
have to
sweet
go with
potato
that.
casserole is an American thing. I do not understand. It's so sweet.
And all the
Yeah,
marshmallows. Yeah,
you don't need the marshmallows.
yeah, there's already so much sugar in there. Okay, Halloween 78 or Jaws?
Jaws. I
Mhm.
love them both. Jaws is a better film.
I do too.
Yeah.
We always throw that in at the end because Halloween is my favorite film, and Ben, who's from the UK,
Yeah.
loves Jaws, so we always ask.
Yeah. I mean, they're
Um,
both perfect for what they are, right? They're exactly what they need to be. You've got the perfect slasher and the perfect creature feature.
exactly. Most choose Jaws. We've had a few guests on who have chosen Halloween. Caroline Williams from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 chose Halloween,
Hmm.
and I'm going to stick with that because I thought that was amazing. Um,
Yeah.
let's
How good
see.
is Texas
Well,
Chainsaw Massacre 2, though? That's
oh man, I love that movie. I couldn't. Honestly, I'm still sort of in shock that I actually got to talk with her about that. And
yeah.
Stepfather too. She was in
Yeah.
so many horror movies. Anyway, neither here nor there. Christmas Tapes streaming on multiple platforms. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a fun horror Christmas anthology. You can also get a physical copy. Let's see, Rob, how can folks find you on social media?
Yeah, so Woof Cat Films, WOOF. I mean, you're going to put it on the screen.
Yeah,
Woof
we'll
Cat
put it up. Yeah.
Films. Yeah, sure. uh, that's on there are social medias. If you go to woofcatfilms.com,
Okay.
we got Blu-rays, we've got sweatshirts, t-shirts, that kind of stuff from the mostly all Christmas tapes themed, I think, at the moment. We tend to cycle it around. But yeah, you can support us that way. Any money that we make, this is like a side gig. We do this for fun. Any money that we make goes back into our next films. So
Oh,
it's kind of
cool.
been nice. They just kind of pay for themselves. And yeah, yeah, just support us. We
Awesome.
appreciate it. Give us a like, we'll give you a like back. You know how it is. It's just trying to get these films out there. But yeah, hopefully
Yeah,
you
for
enjoy
sure.
the Christmas tapes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's been fantastic to chat with you about that. I can't wait to hear more about your new projects and films coming up.
Mhm.
Let's see. Head on over to YouTube, check out A&B Horror Movies, like and subscribe because it helps our channel. Um, and there you have it. Thank you so much, Rob. It's been fantastic to chat with you today. And I
Cool.
hope
Thank you.
everyone has a nice Christmas and nice holiday season. Bye, everyone.